Hi, my name's Melanie. I'm a firearms instructor here in Alberta. I'm going to talk to you a little bit about cleaning your firearm. We're going to do a really simple clean. I've chosen a firearm that I think will be reflective of what you'll have at home. It's important, first of all, to make sure you have a proper stand and space to work. Make sure the area is ventilated because we are going to be using some chemicals, and make sure that your firearm is unloaded, obviously, before you begin this process. So to begin with here, I just want to talk to you a little bit about why we clean our firearms. So first and foremost, the accuracy of your firearm is dependent on the rifling remaining clear. All within your bore, the fine grooves of your rifling collect dust, debris, but most of all your powder solvent after every shot you take. So we want to clean that out, otherwise your rifling starts to gug up, and that will definitely affect your rifling. So a couple of things that you're going to need, basic stuff. You need some sort of solvent. You might find it in an aerosol or liquid form. You're going to need a gun oil, something like this. You can also get something that's called a CLP. It's a combination lubricant and cleaner, and they're sort of like a 2-in-1 shampoo. They're not really great at cleaning, but they leave a nice finish. So I use them as oils more than anything, but I recommend sticking to just the normal solvents for the cleaning part. So you're either going to use a cleaning rod system where you have a stiff rod and different end tips. We'll talk about those. Or you might have a cable system. What you'll choose to use will depend on the type of action that you have on your firearm, and I'll demonstrate that for you. You'll have the same sort of ends for those as well, either brushes or patch wands. So you're also going to want some kind of patches. You can buy patches. I recommend just taking some old white cotton t-shirt, pillowcase, something like that, and just cutting them up into little squares. That works just as well. What we'll do is, to create an all-around clean, we'll just poke a hole in your cotton patch and then slip the head through there before feeding the patch through your needle head. So there you'll have a 360 clean all the way around. So what we have here is a bolt action. So it's pretty straightforward. You actually have two options for your bolt action, and actions similar to this where you can access the entire interior of the barrel. Because we're doing just a really straightforward clean today, we're not disassembling any part of the firearm. The one easy thing about the bolt action is you can actually remove this bolt piece and be able to access the inside of the bore from either your end or the muzzle end of the firearm. Because you can do that, you can either use a stiff rod system and push your cleaning materials through the action this way, or you can use a cable system and run it out the same way. Either way, our goal is to take all of the buildup inside the action, and we're making sure that we're dragging it outside of the action and away from all the fine moving parts in this part of the firearm. Okay, so I'm just gonna make sure we're gonna start in the bore. So I'm going to just start by spraying solvent into the bore. It's nice if you have the little straw head. If you're using an aerosol cleaner, it's handy to have that near. You'll see that I'm getting fumes at the muzzle end as I spray, and that's perfect. We know it's making it all the way through. Once we spray a little bit, I'm just going to go ahead and feed using a cable system. You just drop the one end down first. And you'll feed it and pull the cotton patch through from your muzzle end. And you'll see every time we do that, we're going to collect a little bit of powder solvent and residue as we go. And you're just going to want to keep doing that until your clean patches come clean. Every time you're pulling it through, you're actually taking that patch off, replacing it with a fresh patch, and doing it again. So once your bore is clean and your clean patches are coming clean through there, we can move on into cleaning the action with solvent again. Again, you can spray the solvent directly into the action, or if you'd prefer, you can just spray it onto a rag itself. All I'm going to do is just reach in with my fingers and wipe down anything I can reach. Once you're satisfied with that, we're going to move to the exterior of the firearm. It's important to keep any metal part free of oil, especially from your fingers. The salts and oils from your hands will remain on the firearm, and that's usually the first places you're going to see surface rust develop. So we want to make sure that all parts that are metal are nice and shiny and we don't have any grease spots left over. So once we're done with our solvent, we're basically going to do the same thing over again with our oil. The only thing that happens this time that's different is that we're not having to do it a million times running through your bore. Just one light, thin coat of oil. As I mentioned earlier, if you use a combination solvent and lubricant, that works fine. It's a nice thin oil. You just want to leave a nice thin coat. If you do use a heavier oil, make sure you're wiping off the excess before you go to shoot it. Those oils are preferable for firearms that you know you're going to be storing for extended periods of time. Then you definitely want to use a little bit thicker oil. So this time we're just putting a nice light layer of oil on our fresh patch. And we're going to do exactly the same thing. Starting in the bore, we're going to run that through. And then we'll use a fresh rag to wipe down the action with oil as well. So you'll also see bore brushes in the store, and they're handy if there's quite a bit of residue built up inside the bore. They get right into all the rifling grooves and get all that stuff that's built up over time out. If you're doing your regular cleaning, you really shouldn't need these, especially if you're doing it fresh after shooting. If you do end up having to use bore brushes, just be aware that they are made of different materials. There are bore brushes made of bronze, which is what we have here, phosphorus, bronze, or steel, and there's also nylon. So I would definitely recommend avoiding nylon bore brushes because they don't do as well of a job. They're quite soft tipped, so they don't get into the grooves as well. And the steel bore brushes are really tough on the inside of your bore. So if you have to use bore brushes, stick to your bronze bore brushes. So once we've got oil all through, a thin coat in the inside of the bore, and through your action, you've rotated your action, it sounds nice and smooth. Just make sure you haven't left any fingerprints on the exterior of the firearm. Take your rag as you put it away, handle it with your rag to put it away so you're not leaving anything behind after working so hard to clean it. But that brings us to the end of a really basic firearm cleaning job, and it's good anytime you use your firearm, you should do at least that. And then once a year, depending on how much you use your firearm, you should start doing your disassembling and cleaning process. So the shotguns, because they have quite a bit bigger barrels, we are using a little rubber piece that basically spreads the rag out so that it's tight to the inside of the shotgun bore as you drag it through. I'm using an Otis kit here today. This is their tactical kit. I like it because it has all the bits you'll need, and it comes with those shotgun pieces. So this shotgun end piece is quite simple. You just start the rag the same way, and then you add this before feeding the patch back through. Then you'll have that nice 360 clean as you pull it through the shotgun. So it keeps it in a good fit through your bore and picks up all the solvent on the way down. We just continue the same way just like we did our rifle. Okay, that brings us to the end of our gun cleaning video. If you liked it, give us a like, subscribe, there's more videos to come. Thanks for watching.